can you give us a sense of, how you've looked at your open enrollment process, throughout each iteration that you're doing? Like you kind of touched on it at the beginning of like, hey, we've done it last year, but like this is a new project and like here's ways that we could get better. Like give us a sense from, where you started, what was evidence of like where you can improve, how you've improved, and how you continue to kind of have that continuous improvement focus.
Yeah, I think it's something that's kind of a gift and a curse. It's hard for me to settle on anything I'm doing. I am constantly in all aspects of life trying to figure out how I can do things more efficiently and trying to find time, right? So, in that, I think it's as you're going through it, first of all, not being afraid to try something new. I think yes, do a risk assessment, but if the worst that can come out of it is, so and so doesn't like this process or so and so doesn't, love that we changed it, that's not a good reason not to try something. So I've always kind of had that notion of, if even if it does work, you can change things and make it better. So even just the beginning of my career, again, I think I mentioned it earlier, everything was paper pencil, right? And as you can imagine, that just is incredibly inefficient. I grew up in the world of technology. So for me, coming into organization as a young professional, I think for me, it was how do we get this electronic? The tools exist. The organization just hasn't taken that step forward. And, I would ask the question, like, why aren't we using our HRIS system? It has the capability. We don't pay anything extra for it. And the answer had been, well, we've never done it before, or, employees don't know how to log in. We have a generation of workforce that isn't familiar with computers. So it's just going to be too much time and effort to try and get them to change. And it's, little by little kind of breaking down that barrier. Okay, if that's the issue, right? Then maybe we need to look at getting a couple of kiosks in the lunchroom, right? So employees, maybe employees don't have cell phones that they can access, or they don't have computers at home. Okay, let's look at what would the cost be to get a couple kiosks, right? Oh, and by the way, if we solve that problem, they also can access their paychecks by themselves. So they're not, having to come to their supervisor or HR department every other week to get that. So again, it's just, not settling for, hey, we've always done it this way. This is just not something our culture is ready for. This is just something that we're not willing to take the risk on, and really try and peel back that onion and understand what are the risks. And of course it doesn't go without bumps and bruises along the way, but you learn and you kind of take note of what happened, what didn't go well, and you try to improve it for the next time. Um, so yeah, I think again, starting from kind of the paper pencil, and then now we're to the point where everybody's in their HRI system. And again, it's not perfect. It never will be, but my philosophy is kind of it's okay to be a disruptor, just have a plan, right? And it doesn't have to be a perfect plan. It just has to be a good enough plan. And maybe with some, risk assessment and some contingency plans if something does go sideways, but be a disruptor, but have a plan, and it good enough. Good enough is okay when you're trying to make when the intent is to try and make positive motion in the right direction. So it's kind of been my philosophy in what I do, and so far it's worked out okay. But again, it's not to say that I haven't ever run into issues where things have failed, but you kind of learn from those failures and you move forward.